Back again, almost on time. Almost did it.
I have an important question. I just was thinking about something. Who played the drums for that music?
It's a drum machine. It's a drum machine.
Oh, I see. A drum machine.
Yep. Not a bad one either.
I could have come played drums for you. I mean, I'm not a drummer, but I could have managed.
We were really far away at that point, though.
That's true. We were.
Yeah.
It would have been a long drive. Anyway, what time is it? 9:10. Oh, shit. See, that's why people were giving me a hard time on Facebook.
Nice language, by the way. Start off the show.
All right, so this is a special show because we have like a joint arm talk / hand control worldwide thing going on here. Because we have the one and only Jody Williams on the program tonight. So welcome, sir.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
What's up,
Dude,
man?
Our pleasure. Usually you work on Wednesday night, so we got lucky. We had to take advantage of your day off.
Yep.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. So let's see. We got all kinds of shit to talk about. Where should we start?
Well, we could start with WAL 401. That takes place tomorrow in Chicago.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's do some predictions, starting with Zinna and Todd. Where are you guys going with that?
Well, let's see. Has Michael Todd cut weight for some reason? Or is he still as big as ever?
I'm sure he's pretty big.
I think he has a point to prove because the fact that the last Lottie tournament, we had the super match, it didn't go in his favor. And I think now usually when Todd loses a match, he kind of goes in hiding and he works his butt off. And then he resurfaces a bigger, stronger Michael Todd. So Nick Zinna, I haven't seen Nick in a very, very long time. So I'm going to say Michael Todd 3-2.
Interesting.
It's not a bad choice.
Yeah, for me, it's like, I think Nick is stronger, but does he have the technique necessary to beat Mike? That's what it comes down to for me. Because I think I could see him easily winning the first two matches and then falling into Michael Todd's trap that he sets for everybody else and, getting bled out, and then Mike winning the last three on falls or pinning him.
Yeah. Well, you got to figure out, does Nick even have the stamina? I'm not no discredit to him, but all the matches I've seen with Nick is just a quick wham power. Yeah. Good luck trying to stop it, but Michael Todd's been able to stop that, and then hold and then finish him off and wear his opponent out. So.
Yeah, we don't know what Nick's been doing, so we have to just go, like you said, on what we've seen him in the past. He hasn't been known necessarily for endurance, and usually he's like almost 300 pounds, so typically 300-pound guys are not known for their endurance anyway. Right. I'm looking at their little stat sheet they have up from. They're saying that Mike Todd is weighing at 265 right now. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but and that Nick Zinna is at 290, and they're close to the same height. It's interesting that all those skills the skills and stats that they have for each arm wrestler. I don't know if you guys felt that these are accurate, but when I look at them, they look like some of them are just made up.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of stuff that's just bizarre in there.
Yeah, a lot of them don't make really any sense. But
no, I agree.
It's interesting. If you look at Devin's, obviously his endurance is going to be at a 10, right? So I get that, but I'm kind of interested in how they came up with the numbers for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what group did they consult for this? Because like some of them are a little goofy. Like, especially the guys like personally, you're like, what? This doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, Michael Todd, Nick Zinna. I think Nick has a stronger hand than most people will ever give him credit for. Nick's a really, really balanced arm wrestler. When he's in good shape, he is damn hard to beat.
Oh yeah.
The problem is if in my opinion, it all depends on what Nick Zinna chooses. If Nick Zinna decides to try and go sideways off the bat, ready, go, smash sideways, he's going to have a hard time with Michael because Mike likes to catch people with that King's move. And if you just go straight sideways and he rotates through, you crack your wrist back, it's probably going to be the rest of the matches are probably going to go to Michael. But if Nick is patient, pulls back, maintains hand, he could win that match. He is absolutely strong enough and balanced enough to win the match. It's just if he decides to choose the right direction, in my opinion. It's a good match, though. Damn good match.
I think it'll be fun.
Mm-hmm.
I think what a lot of problem people have trying to pull Michael Todd is that they're such in a hurry to win the match, and I don't understand why. We all know the King's move or whatever is like a defensive version of the top row, in my opinion. So when someone goes to hit him and he catches him, well, that person's already committed this way. But they're in such a hurry to try to pin him. It's just, if you go back to the Michael Todd Trubin match, you know, Trubin would surge, come back, surge, reload, surge. So if you're not in a real hurry to pin the guy, you'll be fine. But people just get such in a hurry, and that's what Michael Todd is hoping you do, is get in a hurry, and then you can kind of, you know, bleed into his game, so to speak.
Yeah,
I think that's true.
Michael and Crazy George, you know, it's all the same. They might do a little slightly different, you know, techniques within that King's move, but it is really the same starting point. They really want you to try to win. Just please try to win so I can maintain position. And you're right. There's a lot of video out there, basically 101 classes on how to combat that technique. It's just, do you have the whereabouts to do it when the time comes, right? Can you block out that adrenaline and all that craziness when it comes time? And let's be honest, if you choose the right way to pull that move, you're going to get tired. And as you get tired, what are you going to do? You know, you typically don't do everything perfectly. The more fatigue sets in. So, yeah, I think that Zinna can win that. Do I think Zinna will win it? You know, I'd have a better answer if I knew what the rules were. Because if we have three fouls and running fouls and all that, then
yeah, they do.
Same exact rules? Man, that leans towards Mike. It just leans towards Mike any way you cut it. Because bad things can happen with that match, and we're not going to stop the match. Anytime you can have fouls happen within a match and not stop it, it's going to go towards the guy who's bleeding the other guy out. So, yeah, I'd say Nick's the underdog, but Nick can win it if he's smart.
Well, the reason why I picked Michael Todd is because if it goes in the strap, for whatever reason, I think Mike Todd has that match for this one reason only. It's because when you put the strap on and he wants it real tight, it prevents a person from climbing their fingers on his. If you watch the Trubin match, it was semi-loose, you know? Well, Trubin was able to climb his fingers on Todd and actually press him down.
Right.
But if that strap is so dang tight, you can't adjust your hand whatsoever, then that plays right into Mike Todd. There you go.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that the fair strap is giving these King's move experts a hard time because that strap does not cinch the same way as it used to. It just doesn't. I like it better because it is fairer, but it does not feel the same as it used to. It just doesn't. And if you really rely on using that strap to block somebody, it's different. I think people will figure out how to use it to the best of its ability soon enough with that move, but it is not the same as it was. It is not.
I agree.
And I think that's the loose strap that everybody's having trouble with. I don't think it's any looser. I think when you go to rotate and pull back and tighten into it, I don't think it tightens the same way as it used to. I don't think you're ever going to get it like it was.
But even episodes in the past, John, you made comments that when you get two big guys who are real powerful and that strap is so tight, if they're, let's just say they both go for a top roll, at some point, you know, with all that muscle and power that both pulls are using, at some point that strap will loosen up.
100%, yeah.
You know?
It never stays tight. But yeah, for sure. I think all that definitely plays into it. But yeah, it should be. It's an interesting match. I like both those guys a lot. I'm a huge fan of Nick Zinna. I think he's one of the best guys in the world. So looking forward to him stepping back out there for sure.
It's going to be nice to see him back, you know. It's going to be fun to watch him arm wrestle at the very least. All right, let's move on to the second match, which is Quinlan and Justin Bishop. Most of these don't say what arm. I assume this one's right arm.
I'm going to assume they're all right arm until it says otherwise.
Yeah, good assumption. I'm excited for this match. I think I would have said Quinlan would win this, but I think Justin is a lot more comfortable around 195 now, so I think it will be a fairer match.
Is that what it's at?
Well, they have him listed at 165, which we know is not accurate because he's walking around at 190.
And Quinlan's never made 165. I mean,
well, it says Quinlan's one. It doesn't have a weight class. It just says Quinlan's 195, Justin's 165. So it's just listing the last weight class they competed in. Who knows if there's an actual... Although I do know that Vigeant posted earlier that he had to make 198 So that was the limit for his match.
Yeah, I've heard these kind of limits for people, but I haven't seen anything listed. I've just heard from people.
Doesn't he walk around 198 anyway?
I think Justin walks around, pretty close to that. And Quinlan, I think, is a little bit heavier. So I don't know. I think it's going to be... I still think Quinlan's going to win. I would like to see Justin win, but I think Quinlan will.
Yeah.
It depends on what kind of... I pulled Justin Bishop last year. He came to Oregon in a tournament we had in Myrtle Creek, and he ended up winning overall, but everybody in their weight class who won first got to participate. And I'm like a dummy. I zigged and he zagged, and that's how he beat me. But his hand strength is so incredible, and I don't think people realize how much hand strength that guy has, especially in the straps. You know, it's unbelievable. So if I'm Quinlan, I'd be very, very aware of what's going on as far as his hand strength, because when he locks everything in, and gets that back load going, he takes off to the side. Either A, you better stop it, or you're going for a ride. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, his rising strength in his wrist is unbelievable too. That ability to keep high and keep that flat. Justin is one of the best at it in the business, period. These guys have done this already. They've already pulled Supermatch before right-handed in this format. So Quinlan won that one. Quinlan beat him, and from what I remember, the last match, Quinlan broke his finger or something and still beat him. I think Justin did win one. So, I mean, he's not out of the match, but Quinlan is a special guy. Quinlan stops the match, he's insane. Yeah. Quinlan's out of his mind. I love him, but he's out of his mind. And if he stops that match, he's a whole different person. He has that Michael Todd thing in him. He's not so much concerned about winning, just stopping the match, and then he turns into a different person. Justin's hand is better, in my opinion. Quinlan's arm is better. The problem, the problem with the game is that sometimes it's easier to use your arm than it is your hand. I think Quinlan will win. I think it's gonna be tough though, because Justin's been looking really good lately.
According to Quinlan, the weight limit for this match is 203 pounds.
Whoa.
Well, okay.
Wow. If you saw some of the pictures that Bishop's been putting up on his Facebook, he's looking mighty thick and chiseled.
Yeah, he looks big. They both look big. I'm looking at a picture of Quinlan right now. He also looks really big.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, I think you can never count Justin out. He's proven that plenty of times. Yeah. I mean, I'm just going on what happened in the past, but I'm really excited to see that one. I think it'll be one of the closer matches of the ones that are coming up.
I think you're going to see a hell of an entertaining match with those guys. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be
guys.
fun.
Does anyone know how to watch the show by any chance?
Yeah, they've posted links. If you go to the WAL Facebook page, there's some links to the Bleacher Report live channel that it's going to be broadcast on. So we'll share that. I'll share that in the comments at some point so everybody can see it. But
nice.
Yeah, it's on the WAL Underground Facebook page. So you can check it out there. And this next match between Cobra Rhodes and Max Talbin, I think Max is going to win easily. And I'm basing that on Cobra's performance at Nationals 2 weeks ago, which was, I mean, Cobra is still awesome, and it would be great to see him get another win. He just didn't look like himself. And I don't know how much he can recover in 2 weeks.
Well, I love Cobra to death. I mean, I've kind of modeled some of my technique after him. And over the years, as the years go on, a person gets older and older, and they don't have the same firepower they used to. So, I don't want to sit there and say, Cobra, your time has come and gone. But in the past couple last tournaments, he's not as effective as he once was, And maybe, Max being a young guy, up and comer, looks pretty strong. He may be a challenge for him. So it just, maybe Cobra can outsmart him on the table. Maybe it may come down to that.
Yeah, I don't know. This one I don't know much about. I don't know much about Max. I just don't. I know plenty about Cobra. I know that Max, I mean, isn't he closer to... He's over 76, yeah? I mean, I think he's a bit bigger.
Yes. I mean, they just have, I think they're just listing the weight class that they pulled in, and he's in the 165s on here. But
okay, well, he's made 65, so that's something.
Yeah. Actually, I'm sorry, I misread it. It said he weighs 185 on this thing right now.
Okay. That's not crazy out of the woods big for Cobra. But what I will say is that Max is younger and he's newer, which in my opinion probably makes him a bit more hungry. Can Cobra win? Damn, Cobra can pretty much beat anybody at some point that like 190 pounds or under. I saw him and Nicholas Nanasad pull in Lake Tahoe, and it was the most entertaining 6 rounds you've ever seen in your life. And Nicholas is big.
Yeah.
But, lately, like you said, his performance at Nationals wasn't so great. How much fire does he have left in it? Maybe this is what he needs. I don't know, but Max is definitely, in my opinion, just from being, newer and that kind of stuff, probably a lot more hungry.
Yeah.
He's probably going to win. But, yeah, definitely, hopefully Cobra can fight, at least make it good.
It'll be entertaining. It'll certainly be entertaining,
I don't think, I don't like you said about Justin, Jody, I don't know if people really understand how strong Cobra's hand really is. And that containment and that back pressure is so balanced on him. If he's healthy, I hope he can. I hope. What I hate to see is that somebody continues to go and they have some kind of injury and they're not addressing it, and some people just don't talk about those things. And
right.
But man, that hand and wrist and back pressure of his is something special. Hopefully, you can use it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it'll be entertaining.
Yeah.
And then we have Tom Nelson versus Ian Carnegie.
Yes.
Now,
Tom
this one
Nelson
is the one with the biggest weight disparity between the two people, I think, because it's 100 pounds at least.
Yeah, I'd imagine so.
Well,
at least.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. It all depends on what frame of mind Tom Nelson is. He's going through a lot, at home with his dad and everything. And, when you have to deal with something like that, it can mess you up mentally, Are we going to see the Tom Nelson that's, I'm here to put on the show and make people laugh and kind of get in your head? Or is it the real hungry Tom Nelson, wall champ or die or whatever his saying is? Because he's been talking smack about, other guys, for a long time now. But I really think this is what he needs to get back to where he wants to be. After Wall kind of, pulled the carpet away from everybody and everybody kind of said, okay, I'm doing something else now. He kind of got quiet, and all of a sudden, bam, here's a rebirth. So this is like, hey, it's your second chance. Okay, don't blow it. If you're training, that means with your 100-pound dumbbell, you're doing this. You're getting ready for it. But Ian Carnegie, I mean, here's a guy that took Travis Bagent to the limits before Travis eventually won. But he's nobody to sleep on either.
Right.
For sure.
I mean, I would say, assuming that Tom is trained, I think he should take this match. But it's a really good point you make, Jody, because Tom, we don't know how trained he is. We also don't know how trained Ian is right now either, because I haven't seen much of him lately. That's it. I mean, they pull all these guys out of the woodwork. When you think about all these matches that are happening, Rob Vigeant's in there. I haven't seen him since New England's Cobra. He was at Nationals, but we haven't seen him a lot. Quinlan and Ian and Tom. When was the last time they pulled in an event? So it's it's interesting, the people that they've selected. 2 more matches.
Yes.
So we have Rob Vigeant Jr. versus Nanastad.
Rob Vigeant Jr.
Yeah.
Good to see him back pulling again.
That's
an interesting one. Yes, it is. Go ahead, Jody.
Well, I think Nanastad's arm is like, I don't know, keeps growing and growing at times. And if he happens to post and load up, it can be devastating. However, with that being said, I think RVJ has the hand size of that catcher's mitt. And maybe if Nanastad, I really don't see any matches where Nicholas actually goes into a hook. Okay. So if I'm RVJ, I'd take that big catcher's mitt hand that he has. I'd grip up and grab just a little bit lower than normal, and then add a little down pressure, and on go, you turn them inside. That's the only way that I think to beat somebody with a long enough arm and they happen to load back, go the opposite way. put down pressure, bring him into your world, and now he's open like that. You know, now he's at a deficit where RBJ is so comfortable. I wouldn't pose for the camera. I just get the match done and over with, though.
Yeah, for sure.
I see this as speed versus power. You know, if Rob can catch his hit, then I think he'll win. Now, that might change as the match goes on. I feel like Nicholas has really good endurance, and Rob does too. But I think Nicholas might have the advantage in that sense because his arm is smaller. There's gonna be less blood flowing in it. I always feel like that helps. But I do think Rob is gonna win. I think it'll be a good match. I think Nick might pin him once or twice before Rob starts beating him, but I do think Rob's gonna pull this one out.
Okay. So my opinion on it is I would not advise Rob to hook him. And the reason is because Nicholas's hook defense is so good. I think if they end up in a hook, I think Rob will be fine. But I think
his hook is good too. Nicholas's hook is good.
But I think even getting there with Nick might be dangerous. You know what I'm saying? Like that long ass arm of his, he really knows how to swing around and stop and block hooks. I honestly think that if they both go outside in the straps, I think the very best thing Rob could do is post with Nick, because Nick's going to have to dump his hand in order to pull at the same height in those straps. And Vigeant has a better posting top roll than most people give him credit for. And that might be his window into a hook from there. But that's how
here's a $1 million question. Does RBJ even shoulder press?
Oh yes, he can.
He does. He actually can do it. He does everything well. He's really he's technologically, in terms of arm wrestling skills, he's got a high IQ. You don't get to see it as much for whatever reason. I don't know if it's the lack of confidence or what, but he's really good in every angle.
I say that because when you do see Nicholas Manistad struggle, all you got to do is flick on some arm wars and watch him and Frodo Hoagland go back and forth. And there were times where, Frodo, once he got that shoulder in, it peeled him back like that, and he was struggling like that. So, because it's hard, especially when someone has a long arm like Nicholas, when you're in this position, it's hard to come back. And if Rob can get on top of that and make him work, he might wear himself out. I don't know.
What do you think's going to happen? Give me a prediction. Who's winning?
I say RBJ 3-2.
All right, there we go. Last match, which I know the least about, is Erica Bengston versus Tamara Mitz. I've seen Tamara pull. I don't remember seeing Erica. I'm sure I did see her pull, but I don't remember her. They're both around 140 pounds. Do either of you guys know?
Yeah, I can definitely comment. Can you, Jody?
I don't know anything about Erica. I would imagine, she can get a couple wins, but I'm going to say Tamara 3-1 because Tamara is feisty, and when her back's against the wall, she can dig deep and come up with some wins. That's my honest opinion.
That is for sure.
I'm looking at a picture of her. I remember her now. Erica has a nasty hit, if memory serves.
Yeah,
right.
Erica's in a great arm wrestling area for women. Tamara has been around forever. She's just a fantastic arm wrestler. She's been, very consistent over the years. Really strong arms on both of them. This is really even match because I would say both of their arms are stronger than their hands. I see this going to the straps a lot, and then I see them both pulling in this side pressure where they've lost their hand and wrist, but they're still rotating. Where both people were in that same position. I believe they actually pulled in arm wars already.
Was that Erica Anderson?
No, Bengston.
Yeah, I can't remember. I think she got married.
She pulled Erica Anderson.
Oh, yeah, maybe she got married.
I think she got married.
Hell, this is another repeat then.
Yeah, but
Erica's a top roller, isn't she?
Yeah. Yeah, they both kind of are. I do see Erica winning this still. But Tamara is a battler, absolute battler. One of my favorite videos was of her pulling at UAL, pulled a super match with a girl from Utah. I can't remember her name, and I believe the other girl actually won. But it was like unbelievable war. It's on YouTube.
Was that Michelle Smart?
Yes, it was Michelle Smart. Yeah, they had this unbelievable. I was there for it. It was in Chicago. and they had this unbelievable war. It was one of the best matches I've ever seen in my life. And yeah, so she knows how to battle. So I think you're going to see some long matches with that one. I do think Erica's going to win, but it could easily go 3-2 either way.
Yeah.
So, are you guys going to be watching this event live tomorrow night?
I'll be at work.
What time is it at?
I don't actually know. I'll look it up. But is this, I mean, are you in or are you going to wait and watch the news, John? I know how you feel about it.
I'll probably wait and watch the news. And it's nothing, against WAL or anything. It's just, Now, I'm not going to sit around and watch arm wrestling on Thursday night. I'm just not going to do it.
Is it just the super matches or is there actual event too?
Nope, just the super matches.
So is that like going forward? Because the next big one is in May where we have Devin Laird and Jerry Cataret.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was in Maryland, yeah.
And I'll tell you right now, I'm picking Jerry Cataret to win that. And I know I'm in the minority, but I think...
No, I agree with you. I
think Jerry's going to win 3-0. I think Jerry's going to win and win easy.
Just on that, I can just go ahead and give you my 2 cents. Here's the thing. Everyone likes to crap on his move. And it's like, you know what? If it's legal, why not, right? So I don't know why people like to bag on his move. But last time we seen Devin pull, he was in that 225 range. And lately he's been traveling the globe, taking on matches, against this person, that person. The strongest Devin has, in my opinion, is when he's been about 245, 250.
Oh, for sure.
If he's up in that range, it can make things interesting, But can he catch, Jerry's hit? Can he catch it? I mean, Devin's known when he likes to catch people, he likes to catch people here. Right. Well, imagine this, and you got 300 plus pounds of Cataret.
Exactly. That's my
banging like that.
That's exactly what I think. I think the place where Devin likes to catch people is exactly where Jerry wants you to be, and then it's just going to be like, bam.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I can, to be honest with you, I think Devin's best chance is if he can turn him inside. Even if it's a press, even if Jerry's pressing with his hand in, I don't care as long as the wrists are turned in. But the problem is, we talked about it before, and I agree with Josh on this match, is that Devin is liking this dragging back, this rowing in the straps top roll, which is working very well for him. But the problem is that Jerry's going to give him all that. Jerry's like, "Oh, your rotation's good? Yeah, cool. How about I just flop my hand back and just press straight at you? I'm glad you worked that rotation because you're not going to need any of it. I'm just going to give my hand away." If Devin's strong enough, I think he's better to supinate, actually turn his wrist under and force a hook on Jerry. Because if he tries to top roll Jerry's going to allow all that to happen. Yep. He's going to be top rolling into 0, and Jerry's going to press really, really hard onto his bicep. And I don't think it's going to go well for Devin. If he turns him in, that's a whole different match. It's just the thing is, are you strong enough to make Jerry go into a hook? I don't know.
That's the, again, I'm going to use this term again, the $1 million question. The reason why Jerry has so much success in his flop wrist is that for a guy who has not a real giant hand or long fingers, he got very, very strong fingers.
That's true.
So when he has someone takes his wrist, I don't care. I got enough finger pressure where I still have a good bite on your hand. Now, if Devin, with his long arm, if he happens to kind of, force the match this way and shove his elbow forward, forcing that hook, then Jerry might be in trouble. So I can see Devin, minute by minute, just kind of going like this, get it to where it's on his side of the table. Now, he can sit right here and Jerry has to work, but Jerry's been known to go long matches. We've seen it before time and time again.
He loves it. And he also, if you've noticed, Jerry's elbow is almost always right on the very front of the mat of the pad anyway. He likes to be right on the edge. So Devin's going to have a hard time crowding him off of that.
Well, this is WAL, so the actual, elbow pads are a little bigger than the normal ones.
Yeah, they're the 9 by 7.5, I think.
Yeah, but that extra 2 inches goes towards the back. It's not in the front.
Oh, okay.
But it's, I don't know. We'll see what happens. but I'm looking forward to that one big time. And there's a bunch of other matches on that, but we'll get to that in another show.
Yes.
As for Vendetta, I think, I have a feeling that all three of us feel the same way, which is that Chafee got fucking robbed. And that I don't understand I don't know what you guys think the real reason is why Chafee is not going up against Pushkar. I actually think that they think Chafee can beat Pushkar, and they don't want to have that happen yet. That's what I think about it.
You know, that's excuse my French, but that's bullshit. I mean, honestly,
that's what I think.
When we saw Dave Chafee, right, and we saw him just take Trubin to the woodshed, take him down 6-0. Now, granted, he kind of stopped after 4 rounds because I think it was a pec injury or whatnot.
Yeah.
But that alone told me Trubin could threw everything at Dave, and Dave was just like, "Yep, I'm just going to rotate like this. I'm just take you over, boom, 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 boom." Mm-hmm. And that to me earned him a shot. So my prediction was that on my show last week, I thought, Devin Larry versus Cycloncloth. Okay, we've been seeing promos for the last 3 years about these guys finally meet. It's going to happen. Good. Mm-hmm. I thought Tim Breslin should be pulling Trubin because when Trubin beat Michael Todd, Tim should have been the next in line, but it didn't work out that way. It was Pushkar, and Pushkar won. That kind of threw a monkey wrench in that whole plan. And I'm thinking now would be a good time for that to happen. And then obviously, Chafee and Pushkar, I mean, that's just the automatic, it's what everyone wants to see, at least from, North America anyway.
Well, why do you think we're not seeing it? That's my point. I mean, do you agree with me, or do you think there's another reason why it's not happening?
Is it because he has that neck brace on right now and they're scared that he's not going to be
I don't think they care about that. They're offering him a match, so if they're really worried about his neck, they would say, dude, get healthy and we'll see you next time. And that would have been a much more legitimate. I mean, if they had said that, you might not agree with it, and Dave might not agree with it, but at least you can say, okay, there's some logic behind it. But when it comes to saying, no, we're just going to give you somebody else and we're going to pass Pushkar on to Cycloncloth, to me, that's just ridiculous.
Well, what's Dave's frame of mind now? Because, here's a match that he should have, and he didn't get it now. So is he going to be like, oh, ho-hum, I'll go ahead and pull? Is his heart going to be into it? Or is he going to be so just upset he's going to prove a point and leave no doubt and tell the whole world, that should have been me, not Dennis?
I don't know how much of an impact his neck is having on him right now, but it wasn't that long ago that Dave absolutely destroyed Trubin, as you mentioned. And who the hell else besides Pushkar or Cycloncloth is going to give Chafee a match right now, to be honest?
Exactly.
So, I mean, I think unless his neck is really detracting from his power, which is possible because we don't know. He hasn't really said too much about how much it's impacting him in terms of arm wrestling. But, so that's why I feel like they don't want him to pull Pushkar for some reason. And what would the reason be if it's not that they're afraid he's going to beat him? What do you think, John?
Yeah, I had the same thoughts as everybody else when it happened, which is, this sucks. I mean, what's really frustrating about it is when you have somebody who is so active with well, I'll say PAL for this, but really with any league, they're just very active and then they don't get their shot. It's like, I'm here for you guys whenever you need me to. Just give me a call, I'm there. And then you give it to the guy who's been sitting out for a while. That's a rough deal. Now, the only thing I can think of as to why they legitimately did this, and the whole, because they think he's going to lose thing, I don't know if I buy that quite yet.
Might not be that.
It might,
I have a second theory.
All right, I can't wait to hear it. But my theory is Michael Todd, actually. That's what kind of throws the wrench in for me. And I was sitting around thinking about it one day, and it makes sense. I just wish they would come out and say it. And if they would have explained it this way, I think people would have understood. Even if Dave was still pissed, I think people would have understood a little more. The last time Dave and Michael pulled, Dave lost the series.
You talking about that CrossFit thing?
Talk about
that's a WL.
Well, that and the
yeah.
But I mean, the last time they pulled, it was was it in the right rule set and all that kind of stuff? Hell no, but it's still Michael won last time, and then Dennis beat Michael last time. So I mean, if they were to line it up that way and explain that and say, well, Dave, maybe you either need to beat Michael, or if Michael's not going to participate in this format anymore, then you have to just wait your turn.
Nah, you got two different sets of rules. Because you got, PAL has, okay, they're counting every elbow foul, whereas WAL, you get running fouls. So it's a total different set of rules.
I agree.
So it chooses you have to pull a certain way. And the last time Dave Chafee pulled with the set of rules for PAL, he dominated. So I don't see what the big deal is.
Yeah,
the other thing is they actually ended that day 2-2 because Dave beat him in the tournament.
Correct.
And then won the first match in the super match, and Mike won the last two. So the way Igor runs it, he should view that as a tie. But my actual real reason that I think they're doing it this way is because selling it in the United States is whatever, how many of us buy it? A couple hundred people probably, maybe 1,000. But overseas, where everybody actually pays attention to PAL and spends money on it, having these two guys go up against each other is probably going to be a ratings bonanza for him, and that's why I think he's doing it, because he's going to make a shitload of money off of it.
Yeah, even that's kind of who cares to me, to be honest with you. If you promote that match
if you're Igor.
No, I'm saying Igor. Right, what I'm saying is if you promote that match correctly, then it would be an easy sell. Because Dave's been smashing everybody else.
That's true, but not as easy as the guy that everybody thinks is the greatest of all time, basically, other than Alexei Voveda. He has the same like mystique overseas that Voveda does. It's like somehow he's the best. He's just like some kind of magic.
There is a big problem. There is a big problem in this sport, and I don't know if it happens so much in other sports, but the longer somebody stays away, the better they get.
It's like burying a vampire. People think they just get stronger and stronger. And just you wait when he comes back. It's like Bobby Fischer playing chess. One day he's going to come back and beat everybody. He's not. He's not. Because he's not competing. He's not competing against the best actively. So you can't possibly put him in that same category anymore. Nobody does that. Right. I mean, Tiger Woods, Mike Tyson, you name all these people. They're Michael Jordan. They're unbelievable. And then they go away for whatever period of time and they come back. They're not the same person.
Well, John, that comment you just said about, the longer someone stays away, the stronger they get. Well, us Americans live by a thing that said, what have you done for me lately? So, and so far, Dave's been kicking butt. I think, honestly, 100%. Honestly, in my opinion, I think Puskar is afraid of Dave Chafee.
I agree. I don't know if he's afraid personally. I think that somebody over there knows Chafee is going to smash him, and that's why they don't want to do it.
It would make more sense to me, in terms of building whatever, if you want to call it the story of this whole thing. What's really tough about this is it's not until November. Right. Everybody has to wait 5-6 months for anything to happen. It's ridiculous.
And another 5-6 months after that for Chafee to get his chance.
Yeah, you know what I'm. So that's what's really tough about this whole thing. But it would almost make sense in the terms of how we're going to build this to the championship, is if they were like, "Hey, Dave, you got to pull Dennis. The last time you guys pulled, he beat you, and he's coming off wins. You're coming off wins." Mm-hmm. Even that's still not cool, because the guys who have been most active, Dave's been running through them. And the guy's been doing his job. I mean, there is no way to make this okay. There really isn't. But I'm just trying to make it as okay as we can. Dave deserves that shot. It sucks he's not getting it. That's just how it is.
I agree.
It's almost like they're Igor's running this like UFC, and I'll explain why. How often was the #1 ranked guy at Conor McGregor's title belt waiting for him to put up his belt while he's over here fighting Mayweather and throwing crap at buses and stuff? I mean, I'm the #1 contender for his belt, and I can't get a crack at it because he's off doing something else for the last X amount of years. I mean, he's kicking ass. Dave Chafee, same thing. Any person you put in front of him, he's taking them out. Left, right. We're talking PAL, not WAL, but just PAL. He's taking everybody out. So why not? It's what the world, again, it's what North America wants to see, but who's to say that Dennis might do any better versus Devin Larratt? What happens when, and I'm sure Devin and Dennis will pull first on that night before Puskar and Dennis. What happens if Devin blows him away? Then what's your theory?
Right. No, yeah, I mean,
I personally expect Dennis to lose both matches. That's what I think is going to happen. I mean, I saw videos of him from 3 months ago, and he looked like a cancer patient. He looked like he was dying. You know what I mean? And I don't know if he's got back on some kind of regimen and he's back bulky and looking like the Hulk again, but he clearly had some serious physical problems. And I'm sure that he's, you know, people have been watching him and keeping track of his progress and think he's back to being a beast again. But I mean, even if you've regained, you know, your power and your strength, it doesn't mean that you can. I mean, you see it with UFC fighters all the time when they've been out for a year and a half, 2 years, and they come back and they look like physical specimens, but then they get gassed out and they get beat quickly, frequently. And that's what I expect to happen with him. He hasn't been competing, and as far as we know, he hasn't done any kind of arm wrestling other than whatever he plays around with in his gym, and that's not the same.
Well, it's like Alexei Vovoda when Tim Breslin beat him. Was that the last time we all saw Alexei pull on the table?
It will be now because he's banned for 10 years or whatever. But,
you know, so
he's done. Yeah, but that's a perfect example, Jody, because everybody was like, oh, my God, poor Tim Breslin. Tim's going to get scraped. He's going to get his ass kicked. And look what happened, you know? Yeah. And if you watch that match, the very first time they locked up and they both went and ended up slipping, but they slipped straight in the middle, and Alexei hit Tim as hard as he could, and Tim stopped it. And Tim was like, yeah, because he knew, okay, this guy's not stronger than me. And then it came down to who's the better arm wrestler. And at that moment in time, Tim was better because Tim was active. Tim was pulling people all the time. He was going to training all the time. He wasn't putting videos of him table curling 100,000 pounds with nobody else in the gym. He was arm wrestling. And when it came to you were there, John. You know, he out arm wrestled Alexei. In addition to being stronger, he out arm wrestled him.
He out arm wrestled him. He had a lot more guts in him too. I mean, and I'm a Vovoda fan, but like I was there. His face after the second match was like, what the fuck did I get myself into? This old dude who can barely walk to the table because his equilibrium's all fucked up is whipping my ass. And when everybody, you know, I still see the posts now and they're like, oh yeah, everybody thought Tim was going to lose and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, there was a group of 8 guys in Ron Klumba's fucking gym that didn't think we was going to lose. You know, I
picked him to win.
I mean,
just keep that in mind.
Tim is special. People don't understand. You know, people who train with him don't even quite understand a lot of times because you go to train with him and he's like, this guy's kind of human. You know, he's strong, but, you know, he doesn't feel he doesn't feel bulletproof. Tim in competition and when he's ready and he's going, and Tim in training is a whole different guy. Tim's hand strength and his posting back pressure, I mean, it's out of this world. It's out of this world. And, yeah, there was a group of guys who knew exactly what was going to happen that day. I was just like, there's no way this guy's going to beat Tim.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. How do you think Tim's going to do with Rustom?
Oh, that's interesting. I have to go back there, and I'll be helping him train a bit. I mean, I have a plan for him, whether that's the right plan or not. But the thing about Rustom is so difficult is that Rustom is so balanced. He doesn't get.
Everybody says his hand is like the strongest hand in the sport.
Krasi said it was the strongest hand in the sport, and Krasi's no joke when it comes to understanding the game. Yeah, man, he doesn't get enough credit for his top roll. Rustom doesn't. It's not quite what his hook is, but it's damn good. And, you know, we all just saw how strong he is at this weight with Hutchings. He's so strong. So
that's different. Tim's like what, 280, 290? Is that what Tim is now?
Oh yeah, on the lightest days, he's 3 bills.
Right.
You know, he's 300 pounds. And Timmy's, you know, top roll in hand strength compared to Todd Hutchings is not the same either. You know, I think, man, it's going to be Tim's going to have to do everything exactly right. That's for sure. Because if he falls in the wrong spot with Rustom, it's going to be a losing battle.
I have no idea what to say about that one because, I mean, my immediate impression is that Breslin going to win because he's too much bigger and so incredibly powerful in his previous matches with people. But then you see these videos of Rustom just toying with basically everybody, and it's like frightening. So it's hard to just...
Yeah, you see it go inside, and you see him beating like Trubin. And it's like, whoa, what?
It's insane.
Well, the thing is, though, is can Rustom even turned Tim in.
Right.
If Tim, because Tim, we all know he doesn't have the longest fingers, but once he gets real high and clamps down and then adds that back load, can you actually turn him in? That's the kicker. If he can turn him in, it might be a long day, but I don't even think Rustom can even turn Tim in.
Yeah, that's a very, very difficult thing to do to Tim, is to turn him. Yeah. Tim not having long fingers is that's maybe the biggest understatement.
Yeah,
have you ever gripped up with Tim, Jody?
I've never. Tim and I, we talked back and forth, and he even said, "I don't have the longest fingers," so he made his hand thicker. Yeah. So to make your hand real thick, I mean, it's saying a lot. I tried to mimic what he did one time. I'm like, dude, I don't know how you top roll people without capping. I just can't. I can't do it. Yeah.
Well, that gives a lot of people a lot of trouble, because you think of a posting style top roller and you think of a certain thing, and then you get to the table with Tim and you're like, wait, is this guy gonna hook me? Because he never caps. And he has such a small hand. He has a similar hand size to Marcio, but Tim's hand's thicker. Marcio doesn't have a very big hand either. But man, those fingers, they're like little railroad spikes. They do not move. And you put on top of that this posting back pressure and this incredible rotation. I do think that Rustom will have a hard time keeping it in the center because of all that. It's so hard to make predictions when you're talking about people so outside of each other's weight classes, because you don't have any common opponents to go through. When we saw Todd Hutchings and Rustom go at it, we all knew, Todd's not going to top roll. He wants to go inside. That's his bread and butter. Yeah. Rustom's like, hey, let's do it.
Exactly.
But Rustom came to Nevada last year and qualified for Arnold Classic, and he had to go against Chris Chandler. Chris wasn't trying to top roll. He kind of went inside, but Tim's not going to go inside. That's not where his strong point is. He's going to stay outside. So that may change the game plan of Rustom.
It'll be interesting to see. It sucks we have to wait till November, but it's good for Tim, because he, getting more time to train and watch more videos of Rustom and think about what he's going to do is going to be beneficial.
Oh yeah.
There's a couple people, Luke, saying that Rustom is going to blow through him. I have a hard time believing he'll blow through him. I mean, he might beat him, but it's like Tim is so powerful. I don't think he's.
Yeah, he'll certainly feel Tim, but man, we're talking about the greatest middleweight of all time. So, nothing but respect to Rustom, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
It's so hard because, like I said, they're so outside each other's weight classes.
And as you said, he's very savvy and knowledgeable in the sport. When we had him on the show, I learned a great deal from him.
No, he's been in it forever, Yeah, for sure.
All right, so the next topic for us to discuss is the good news that nobody thought was ever going to happen, which is that we're going to have a unified nationals next year in 2019.
Yeah.
I am beyond excited about that, man. I feel like it's, we said it last week. I think that it's a huge sacrifice on the part of Denise and Leonard and Karen and Frank, and also Anthony Laterio less so for him because he's only done one nationals, but the other two have done them for decades, and to sacrifice them for no personal gain whatsoever, but instead specifically to help boost the attendance at the USAF nationals and therefore make the USA team better. I just think it's fantastic news. And honestly, I don't give a shit if you don't like testing or whatever. People need to go to that event, fucking cycle off, show up, win, and then go to Worlds, man, because we need to send our best people over there, and now there's no excuse.
Right. Well, I went to Nationals in 2012, unified. I was in Reno, Nevada. And you got to remember, back then there was no WAL, so that tournament was a who's who. And just to give you guys an idea, at that point, I was in the 187-pound class. Mm-hmm. And when you got guys like Storm Chelino, Chase Stratton, Mike McGraw, Razor Rao, I was going against guys like that. I think I took like 8th or 9th right-handed and 2 and out left-handed. But, man, it was just a who's who, of all tournaments, It
was nasty that year. It was. Yeah, I was there at 65. It was a bad tournament. It was so good. Yeah, and that's what we miss, right? You want to see those classes of 20-something people in them. You know, you don't want to see. I don't want to go to a nationals and have the third place guy go 0-2.
Right.
That sucks, and then nobody feels good about it. I mean, nobody feels good about it.
No, I mean, I keep quiet to my, only tell a few. I mean, I went to nationals last year. Josh, you were there, and I took third in the Masters division. Now, granted, I only had to win like 3 matches, but still, it's just like, I mean, hey, I took third, but
one thing about that, Jody, both in last year and this year, the Masters classes were bigger than all the Open classes, and it's like that every year. It's like, I don't know why, but the Nationals attract older pullers for some reason, so the Open classes are little, the Masters classes are way bigger. Like, for example, at this Nationals, there were 3 people, just like John's talking about, in right-handed 198s in Open.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
3 people. And at Masters, we had 9, which is, a decent group. It's still not huge, but it's a lot better than 3. So it's like, what the hell, man? And it's like, I know some people are afraid of testing, which fine. We talked about that enough last week. But there's a lot of people that are not afraid of testing, and there's a lot of people that would, don't use year-round or whatever, who should be showing up at this event. So I really, really, really hope that the attendance at 2019 is much better. And at the very least, you're going to know from this point forward, when you get a national title at that event, you earned it, man, because there's only one of them. It's not like you're picking between 6 different nationals and, this is it. This is the national championship. If you want that title, you got to show up at that event to earn it. And that by itself is a huge success.
I think it depends on what individual puller, what their goals are, Are you in this sport because you want to be on TV? Are you in this sport because you see that, pot of gold, you want to win all that money? Is it, credentials? I want to represent my country at Worlds. It all depends on the actual puller, and maybe that's why, you see a lot of masters, because it's like, I'm not real keen on, I want to have a national title and have a chance to represent my country. Not everybody's on the same page, and that's all right,
Yeah,
there's a few people saying that there were big classes in nationals, and you're right. Tyler actually posted this, that the 54s and the super heavyweights both had really big classes, but the ones in between were the smaller ones. So Tyler's right about that, and Bo's actually listening too, and he won the 98s in the Open class. He looked really good, and Bill Logsdon was there, but he pulled 87s, and it would have been nice. They were on the same team, so I guess that's probably why they didn't pull each other. But there were definitely, Paul Talbot was there, and Scott Ballinger. There were definitely big names. Richard Lupkes was there, and obviously Cobra was there. But the numbers themselves were not huge. And so, it would be nice if all those big names came and still got challenged by, the younger generation of people who are still, training clean and in the sport for the right reasons. And Bo's posting he wishes his class was bigger. But the fact is, I mean, it's nationals. You don't control who shows up. You showed up, you win. Then everybody else didn't go. They can whine, they can say whatever they want online, but they weren't there,
Yeah, you can blame the culture for that shit, but you can't blame the individual who wins it. It's like,
Absolutely.
What are you going to do? Play for people's plane tickets to come prove you're the best guy?
Exactly. The people that showed up deserve the credit, and you just want the event to be bigger because it's just what you said. Like, you want to go home and say, yeah, I won a national title, and people say, how many matches you had? You want to say, I had like 12 matches. And they're like, holy shit, dude, that's crazy. That's what you want to tell people.
I tell you what, the next time Worlds comes to the United States or even Canada, I guarantee you each class will probably have 15, 20 pullers.
It'll have 30 people. If this World is going to be in North America, then it'll be stuffed. There'll be more people than you can deal with. There's no doubt.
Rest assured.
Yeah, that happened in 2010?
Right.
10?
Whatever it was, the last one.
Yeah, it was, and it was, like, honestly, it wasn't in the best area. It was somewhere in Montana. I don't think it was Billings. It could have been, but I really don't think it was. And
I think Nationals was in Billings that year, but Worlds was in Mesquite, Nevada.
Right, but like the entries for USAF were absolutely crazy. You know what I mean? It was insane classes, and it is true. If you hold Worlds in North America, you're going to get better USAF.
Everybody will be there.
But if there's only one Nationals, you're bound to get better turnout too.
Yeah, I mean, I just think, I think part of the reason that people don't travel to nationals is they're like, there's so many nationals doesn't mean anything. Now that it does mean something, that there's only one way to get that title, I think by itself that will pull people out that haven't been going. Because again, it's a legitimate title. It's not to say that one national was more worthy. I mean, I actually agreed with Simon's opinion about it, since the USAF one was the only one that qualified you for Worlds. In my mind, that was the real nationals in this day and age. When I was a kid, it was AAA's. But now we don't have to have those arguments anymore, because, there was a lot of personal sacrifice made by the people doing those tournaments. And the events that they're going to be doing are going to be cool. Like the North American Championship that the AAA is going to put on. That's going to be friggin' awesome.
Yeah.
Well, here's a question, Josh. I think, Josh, you and John might be the very few that would actually go to all three. But who made the change that a qualifier went from AAA to USAF?
Yeah, there's a really long, convoluted story in there, and I've heard so many different sides of it that I'm not even going to attempt to guess. But the reality is that AAA was the qualifier for a long period of time. WAF took it away from them. And that story is, again, there's a lot of different renditions of it. And then they selected USAF. And at that time, USAF was not big. But it also, if you remember, if you know your history, the USAF was founded specifically to unify the nationals so that Team USA would have the strongest team. And it didn't end up coming to fruition until this year. But that was the original goal. So that's probably why they selected them, even though the USAF does not have a circuit of tournaments around the country like AAA used to. Like when I was a teenager, AAA had state championships in most states. And so there was a whole, AAA was a big deal. And still is a big deal, but it's not to the same extent. Most state championships are run by some local guy and are not connected in any way to the others. But anyway, all that's done now. I mean, for the reasons for it, who knows? But USAF is the only nationals now, so really there's no excuses anymore.
I think it'll make it a little bit easier if down the road we want to reach out to sponsors for, hey, can you, what do you think about this athletic company sponsoring this group of individuals to go to Worlds? And they look at the sport and they go, the way it was, well, there's fucking 5 nationals. So what makes yours more legit? What? Like, why is there 5 and there was 3 people in your, like, how many entries did you have? If you have one class, that kind of, you can, or one league, one nationals, it kind of puts it, sponsors will look at it a little bit more legitimately anyway. It'd be really nice if state tournaments were a USAF tournament.
I'm working on it, man. I think that's got to be the next step.
Because I think, I think every other amateur sport has gone through this. I don't think we're anything new. Isn't wrestling the same way? NCAA goes from, middle school to high school to college to right. It all kind of builds up and supports the efforts down the road.
I get what you're saying. I think a couple of things that might be an issue. Number one, not every state has a state like Oregon. We don't even have a state qualifier anymore. So a lot of us Oregon guys and girls got to go up to Washington to, claim a state title. I don't think Idaho even has one anymore. So
yeah, but that's easily fixable. I mean, you could run a tournament, and if 10 people show up, and maybe next year it's 20, the year after it's 50. We have to, and that's what everybody's talking about. Chad and all those guys about building the youth league. Is we have to take responsibility for organizing. The USAF has 5 people on their board. They can't organize the whole country. So we have to start doing that and connecting them. And then it's up to us. If Scott Wynn's idea of the unified arm wrestling league, that he wants to be worldwide. But if we want to start doing state championships, Legion of Regionals, Legion of Divisionals, Legion of Nationals, which is the model in most sports, everybody's saying, oh, well, that'll reduce the numbers even more. And yes, it will at first, but it also legitimizes the sport, professionalizes the sport, and it follows the pattern that other sports have used to get into the Olympics, which is that you have a very well organized and unified worldwide organization. And you can look at United States, you can look at England, you can look wherever, and you have the same pattern. People are qualifying, they're going to nationals, they're winning, and then they're going to worlds, which one day hopefully would be at the Olympics. And that's what they require of people, professional organization. And that's what this sport doesn't have anywhere.
Right.
Not only in the United States, but even worldwide.
Yeah, that's the big problem. You use that P word, professional. I think people have that word very skewed in our sport, because we look at things like the WAL as professional. That's what they it's marketed as a professional league. And you can't take a very simple rule set, destroy it, then not follow it, and then put it on TV, and then claim that's professional because they give money away. The problem is with that, not to bash the WAL any more than I have for my entire career,
please,
the whole WAL underground thing, right? And we want to bring in everybody possible. Joe Schmo on the couch, come to a WAL event. You can be one of us. All this kind of stuff, right? Which in theory sounds great. But the problem is, if you want to put a professional league on TV, I don't want to watch fucking flag football on TV. Right? You know what I mean? Like, hey, my buddies had a great flag football league going on Sundays. Okay, let's put it on TV. Who the fuck's going to watch this?
Guys from the other neighborhood.
Right. You want to watch the NFL. You want to watch these athletes who have trained for a sport their entire life with very, very, very rigid rules. This is the way it is. And if somebody breaks one of the rules, we stop the game. We explain what the rule was broken. People are either happy or people are upset, but they broke a rule, so we cannot continue the match right now. Mm-hmm. So it's tough when the whole marketing scheme was to make this thing professional when it was as close. They took it from what we consider professional, which is a national event, and they made it more like what you see in the bars. Mm-hmm. I don't want to watch guys on TV arm wrestle at the bar. Right. I don't want to see that. People want to see excellence. They want to see something that is holy shit. Could you imagine doing that someday? Yeah, you can do it. It's going to take a while, but there's plenty of people. There's so many people that would watch it on TV that have no interest in putting their arm on a table. Mm-hmm. And great. I've watched basketball. I've watched sports. I've watched the Olympics. I have no interest, none, in doing those sports. But you appreciate it because it's excellence. You don't put your backyard football game on ESPN. You just don't do it.
No, I agree with almost everything you said. And the one distinction I would make is that there's a difference between professionally run and run with professional athletes, And I think that my larger point was that to make to have a chance at things like the Olympics or have a true worldwide league, you have to have it professionally run. Regardless. No,
you're 100% right.
So,
you are
completely
right. It's just that word. People hear it. And some people think. Some people go down the road you went, which is you have to have this building block of that makes sense, which is what we already kind of have, if you think about it, but we just ignore it. And then other people, they go, well, professional, well, I got to make a living at it, right? Like somebody, you tell somebody to act professional. That doesn't mean that you act like somebody who gets paid. It means you act like a decent human being. So we all have these different, definitions.
Of God, don't even get me started about professional making money. There are so many pullers out there. I'm not naming names, but we all know a few out there who think in their mind that I'm going to make a living off arm wrestling. It's like, guys, come on here. I'll give you two examples, and they all tie into one another. It's the Las Vegas theory and the Disneyland theory, okay? So, Disneyland theory. Josh, you have a son, right?
Yep.
So, let's just say you and your wife, your son go to Disneyland, and how much that costs by itself, you're going to have to probably save money a year in advance, okay? You save all that money, and you go down to Southern California. Okay, you spending, 4 nights, 5 days or what have you. Do you actually think you're going to come back home with that same amount of money you went down with it with, right? Or Las Vegas. John, you and your girlfriend, you go to Las Vegas for a few days, couple nights, whatnot. Depending on where you stay at, where you eat at, you're going to take a good chunk of change down there. Do you honestly think you're going to come back with that same amount unless someone gets locked at the table or the slot machine? Do you think you're going to come back with that same amount of money back home?
There's a huge flaw in your argument, though. A huge flaw. And that's a problem for the sport. And this is what your flaw is. The argument you're making is very logical and well-reasoned. And the people that we're discussing in the sport have neither of those things. Okay? Because you're 100% right. You're delusional. I mean, John Brezin kept his job his whole career. And he probably made more money than anyone. Maybe Travis has won more through all the different rackets he's run. But, you know, these guys keep their day jobs because there's not enough fucking money in the sport, period. You know what I mean?
Right.
But you're 100% right. Everything you said is exactly right. This sport is something that we commit to. It's something we enjoy, and therefore we spend money on it. And the vast majority of us know we're not going to get our money back. We're going to go win $200 in an event if we're lucky, and we spent $1,200 to get there. So it's like, you know, we're not doing it for the money. And that small subset of people that you've talked about, which sadly includes some of the people that should be arm wrestling the most, are just delusional because they're never going to get that kind of money. It's just not going to happen. Even with this new WAL stuff, like I said last week, they're broadcasting it on a live stream that nobody's ever fucking heard of. I never heard of Bleacher Report live stream. Nobody's going to find that by accident. They're going to have to look for it. You don't even know where to find it, and you're a huge arm wrestling fan, right? So how many people are going to be watching that live? Nobody's going to stumble across it. You don't make stars that way. I mean, if it was on Turner Broadcasting, you might be able to make an argument that there's a future financially for it, but this, no.
Well, I guess we got to sit back and watch. I think Travis Bagent's Super Series, from what I hear of late, it might be on Fox or something like that, comes June 16th down in Arizona. So we'll have to see how.
I'll ask him. I'm going to see him on Sunday. I'm going to ask him about that. I wouldn't hold my breath that it's going to be on Fox. I'll tell you that.
We'll have to find out how that goes.
Dude, I hope that event is amazing. You know, I hope it is amazing, and I hope it gets put on Fox because that's good for all of us. But I just can't imagine Scottsdale, Arizona is going to give him another $100,000 next year. You know, no matter how good it is.
Yeah, well, you know, that's the thing. I mean, after this one blows by and the smoke clears, are you going to have another one for next year? Are you going to have a bunch of other qualifiers?
Well, I'm sure Scottsdale is like, let's see what happens. And the reality is they're going to get, say they get 100 pullers, which they're not, but say they get 100 people and 100, you know, families that come with them. So they get a total of like, you know, 200 people or 300 people show up for the event specifically for arm wrestling. And they invested $125,000 to get 200 people to come down there. And however many people were already attending the festival, some of them are going to watch arm wrestling for a while because it's fun and exciting. But how many people is that event bringing to this festival? And if it ends up being a couple hundred people, there's no way in God's green earth they're going to give them another $125,000 next year. I mean, if you put up a demolition derby and you fill up the stands with hundreds of people that want to see cars get smashed, you're going to be bringing back the demolition derby next year, right?
Right.
But, I mean, are you going to do that with arm wrestling? Are they going to have like a stadium that's going to get filled up with people paying $10 to get in so they get their money back? No way. So if you were them, would you do it again?
I would have to say no. I mean, you know, it's like at some point, if I'm offering all this money, I better see a kickback at some point, you know?
Exactly. I mean, we saw with Cap. It's a lot of money. And we saw it with Kaplan. Kaplan owns part of sports teams. He's got way more money than he lost doing the WEL, but he still is like, wait a minute, I'm not going to keep throwing money out the window. So he ditched on us all, and then he came back with his highs and lows that he talked about. You know, just skip over that. Oh, we had a few highs and a few lows. No, you fucked everybody over out of thousands of dollars. And that's probably why you won't come on the show, but fine. You know, these guys don't want to lose money. It doesn't matter how much money they have. They don't want to lose any. You know, if they have $10 million and you want to take $10,000 from them, they're going to try to figure out any way they can to get it down to $4,000 or $3,000 or $19.99 or whatever else they can do. And I'm sure Scottsdale, Arizona is going to be the same way. But all that being said, I hope it's a fantastic event. I hope it's a huge success and it does go on Fox or whatever because I think that is good for everybody. You know, it's set up for Travis to win 50, if not 25 grand. I mean, 25, if not 50 grand, but.
Just don't call yourself a national champion. It'll be all right.
See, I know the thing is like, we've been talking to people all year about changing their names. I never even bothered sending a message to Travis because I know he doesn't care. You know, I wouldn't even say, "Hey, Travis, could you change?" He's like, I don't give a fuck. You know.
Yeah, well, I mean,
he's gonna say he's not gonna care if his national is interrupting Team USA. You know.
Yeah, the whole problem.
Well, it's interesting. Back in March, up in Washington, right? You know, one state above me, they had a qualifier. You know, so top 3 qualify for his event. Now he has 2 separate events. So if you took first place, then you're in the running for the Super Series of $25,000. But if you took second and third, then you're in the running for the NAL, a chance to pull $1,000. So that puts you in a different category. And both events will happen on the same day under the same roof. So I'm curious how they're going to run that. I mean, it's not like the Arnold where you got a 3-hour window and Denise and Leonard is kicking people off. As soon as you win, you're kicking them off. Next match, next match, next match. Yeah. So I'm kind of curious to see how that's going to be ran down there.
How many people do you personally know that are going to that event?
2.
Yeah, I know 0.
Yeah,
so,
I'd have to say 0. I don't know.
How many people are actually going to be there? I mean, not for nothing. And like I said, I'm gonna ask Travis all this stuff because he's probably like, dude, what the fuck? Why are you saying all this stuff? He does. I'll say it to him too. But you know, he's had some things in the past, you know, promising money and it not showing up. And I think people, believe it or not, are finally learning their lesson about it. They're like, I'm not going to go down there because he says I'm going to win 25 grand or $1,000. And I want to see. Somebody said on this show months ago, put the money in a bank account and show us that it's there, to prove that it's really going to be there, so that we should spend our money to come down and try to win it, and then I will go.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, there's a basic problem with this, and I think it's an old saying, but I think it's like you can put dog shit in an NAL shirt, but it's still dog shit. I think that's the quote. I don't know, but yeah, I mean. Yeah.
Stop beating around the bush, John. Tell us what you really think, man. We want to know.
It's been a really interesting ride not having to be in the competition world. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, I unplugged from competition because of my shoulder surgery, and it's been really interesting having a different view on everything. Because it changes everything. If you have I have no choice to make. Doesn't matter where I go because I have nowhere to go. It's really interesting when you sit back and watch and listen to what people say and you know how people think and also the same mistakes over and over and over again. You know, it's like, guys, there is no magic in this world. There's no magic. Things have to happen the way they happen, and they have to happen through a process. They do not happen by, you know, we think we're gonna just we're gonna blow up arm wrestling right now. Let's do it. It's not gonna work that way. It's never gonna work that way.
Well, it goes back to is arm wrestling starting to overflow with tournaments? Because let's be honest, June 16th was Travis's deal. Originally, that was the USAA Pro-Am Dayton, Dallas, Texas. And then when Travis came up with his event on the same day, that kind of pissed off Leonard and Denise. They had to relocate, different time, different city and all that because of that. And we all know they got a history together that's not very good. But, you know, that kind of caused some rift between that.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You know?
Yeah, that kind of stuff, that's not exclusive to Travis. That's something that, you know, I think it was 2016 was USAF was in Atlantic City. I think that's correct. Yeah. There was a WAL regionals 1 week before, and there was a WAL regionals a week after.
Right.
Come on. Yeah. You know, I mean, this is just the way, and it's something that Herman Stevens has been really saying a lot, which is oversaturation of events and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, damn, the guy is right. He's just right.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I mean, I was arguing against him for the first couple of weeks. I was like, you know, more events is more exposure, and eventually they'll start to, you know, work together and be more coordinated. But I think he may. I mean, just thinking about how these nationals, how it's shaken out the last couple of weeks, I think it might be better to have less tournaments that are more well organized. I've said on here a bunch of times, New England, we get 6 states up here, plus New York. It's not hard to communicate with everybody and say, listen, we want to do New England's on this date. Can we get 2 weeks on either end where nobody runs a tournament? And everybody's like, yeah, no problem. Because we asked 6-7 months in advance. It doesn't fuck anybody's schedule up, you know?
And you're people who don't hate each other.
And we have people who don't hate each other that much.
That's the biggest thing. That is the biggest thing.
Yeah, because you're right. There is not a lot of love lost between Leonard, Denise, and Travis.
Well, just a lot of people. There's, you know, you and I both know this, Josh. There's a lot of ego in the sport, and it's not just in the athletes. And it's not just in the athletes, and some of it's rightly earned and all that good stuff. But it's there. We know it's there.
It's unfortunate, but it's true.
Yeah.
So we do know somebody going to the Travis event, by the way. We know 2 people. Corey Dupuis and Sam Popter are both going.
Oh, there we go.
There you go. So that's at least 3 people that we know are going, plus Travis.
Well, hey, I mean, like you said, hopefully it's a good tournament, because especially if people are
I'm
flying.
sure.
Hopefully, especially if people are flying to it, hopefully it's a good tournament.
Well,
But,
Corey said he got tickets for $300, so he's like, "Yeah, what the hell? Go down and see what happens." I mean, I'm going down to Braintree on Sunday to see this Travis qualifier. I mean, I don't expect there's going to be a large turnout, but I want to. People have told me that they run like you thought WAL was run poorly. They're complete chaos. That there's a ref up at the table, and Travis is yelling instructions about what to do in each match to the ref.
Yeah, those have always been his tournaments. Yeah.
So
are they doing WAL rules down there? I'm just kind of curious.
They're adjusted WAL rules. You could look. You can see it on his site. I think he posted it too. I mean, it's WAL with a few other changes. I don't remember what they are, but it's all up on his site and on his page if you're interested. But it's a lot similar. It's a lot of similarities to WAL. They get to the running fouls, ref script, that kind of stuff. So.
I just see complete chaos, and I'm not trying to, bag on Travis or anything like that, because he's a phenomenal athlete, and, he promotes the sport like no other. So, man, kudos for him. But if it's a WAL, we've all seen a Travis Bagent match at a wall on ESPN, and we've seen it when you go in super slow-mo, and if the referee has his hand right here, he's already taken off, and nothing's called. It's kind of like, what the fuck are we doing over here? So
right.
I'm kind of curious who's going to be in his weight class that's actually going down there.
I don't know, but if I were somebody that was in his weight class and felt I had a chance to compete with him, that would not be the opportunity I would take to compete with him. I don't have a problem speaking negatively or positively about Travis, because my opinion about Travis is he gives it out and he can take it.
Right.
And I'm happy to say all the things that I say about Travis on the show to him on Sunday too, because again, I feel like he's willing to take the criticism. He was trying to get on this show to talk about this thing. He's like, yeah, bring up all the times I screwed people over before. We'll talk about it. And we ended up not having him on, for whatever the technical reasons were, back whenever this first came. But anyway, it's like, it is a reality. I don't think anybody here is stupid. Travis is doing this tournament primarily to enrich himself. And I don't think he would deny it. I don't think anybody else who pays attention to Travis or the sport can honestly deny it. It's set up for him to win. The heaviest guys go against each other in the first match, and then every match after that, they're going to be going against somebody consecutively lighter, whereas the light guys are going to be going up against someone consecutively heavier. That's obviously designed for Travis to get through. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, because lighter guys tend to have better endurance, but Travis's matches are generally pretty fast, especially when he wins. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he set it up. It's an interesting format, and when you first look at it, you're like, oh, that's kind of cool. But then when you start digging a little bit deeper, you're like, oh, now I get it. This is how Travis wins $50,000 as easily as possible.
Well, you just hope, and I say this with sincerity, you just hope that. Remember that blunder match we saw at Wall with Michael Todd and Travis, where Travis was elbow was like 9 feet off the pad or whatever, and the ref called the winner. And I was like, you hope you don't get that kind of stuff, because I don't think that's going to win you over any fans with that. I mean, especially pullers. Right now, pullers are vulnerable. They're looking for something to latch onto after Wall did what they did, and now it's like, okay, Travis, we've known in the past, it's been kind of like, you do this and that happens again, we're looking somewhere to latch onto. And, we're, like I said, we're vulnerable,
I feel like this is like a flash in the pan. It's like if some other fledgling MMA company did like a one-time pay-per-view with a bunch of has-beens. Not that the people going to this are has-been, because they're not, but I'm saying if you were going to do like an MMA super show and you like brought Hoist Gracie out because you knew that people were going to want to pay to see him, and you put like a whole bunch of stuff into one show to try and make a quick buck and run. That's what I think this is. Again, obviously the arm wrestlers going to this are good, so it's probably a bad comparison. But I feel like it's like an opportunity to make money. He's going to take it and see what happens. And if it comes back next year, great. But if it doesn't, no big deal. Corey said he's not going to accept a check from Travis. That's a good idea, man. But about that match you just mentioned, the only reason that got reversed is because Michael Todd refused to leave the table.
Good for him.
If he walked away, that would have gone in as a win for Travis, and people would be still watching. And how the fuck did he win that? The only reason that got reversed is because Mike refused to leave the table until they came back and did the match again. So, I mean, anybody else would have been like, this is bullshit, and walked away. But Mike's like, I'm not leaving. Bring him back here. Bring him back here. Which I thought was just awesome, you know?
Well, usually...
He's told Travis enough times. He knows this bullshit. He's like, no, we're doing it again.
Here's something ironic, because usually when you got two referees, you know, refereeing the match, and you're really not sure how it went down, whether it be elbow foul win or whatnot, don't normally the head ref and the down ref kind of walk over and kind of talk it over, then come back? I never saw any of that. You know?
Right.
Now it's just kind of interesting how that all went down. And, you know, I understand. And being a referee in this sport is probably the most horrible thing to do. It's like an umpire. It's like a bang, bang, you know. Did the guy make it in time? You know, the first base off a hit, you know, when the ball got hit to the shortstop, you got to make that bam call, you know. But it was clearly his elbow was way off the pad, and you called it, and he just was like, it's done, next match. And Todd was like, bullshit, I'm not going nowhere, you know. And then you can see his wife, you know, you can hear her through everybody else, you know. No, that's BS. And, you know, honestly, you hope something like that doesn't happen. It does happen, unfortunately, but you don't want it to happen if you're trying to promote this big event coming up, you know. Mm-hmm. You hope that doesn't happen again with the WAL 401. I don't think it will, but, you know, you hope it doesn't happen going forward. You know what I mean?
Yes, I 100% agree.
Jonathan Laba just posted, I'll read it to you guys. How can you get mad at a guy for hustling every weekend and putting food on the table for his family? The people who disagree with this tournament are the same people who pay money to pull his tournament. Now, I would agree to a certain extent with that, and I just posted it. I agree that he has the right to make money for his family, and if he has this thing and people agree to go pull it, that's their problem. If they sign up and they go and they expect something and they don't get it, that's on them, because everybody knows. But he can make money for his family, but for us, we should express our honest opinion about what he does, and that's what we're doing. So it's not, I don't think it's that I'm saying he doesn't have a right to. He has every right in the world to do it, and if people show up and they want to pay him money, like they're going to do on Sunday, they're adults. That's their decision. But on the other hand, you know, it is clear that he has been involved with various things that have been at least a little bit shady. I don't think he would deny it either. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe he'll tell me I'm an asshole on Sunday. But, you know, Travis is an open book, I think, and I don't think there's really a lot of surprise going around. And, I mean, based on the number of comments, which is basically zero, people know who Travis is in this sport. And it's you either decide you're okay with it, and you take it on, and you say, hey, if I get my money, great. If not, I had fun. Then that's cool, you know. And I just think that's something everybody should be aware of. And I feel like most of us probably are. Yeah,
I mean, I think the comment of people who disagree with them are the same people that pay the money at the tournament. Talk to them. Don't talk to me about it. I've never once paid for that tournament, so I don't know. Yeah, he should be able to do whatever he wants. It's just, I mean, if you just want to hand your money over, go ahead. But I've seen the song and dance before. It's nothing new.
Yeah,
old hat.
We're just gonna have to wait until June 16th come and goes, and then maybe a week or two after that, and say, okay, well, once the smoke clears, are we gonna have another one? You know?
Yeah. Well, we'll find out. Anyway, that's enough about that subject.
Yes.
So, what else are we missing here? We talked about a lot of shit. We've already been talking for 90 minutes. I'm sure people are like, dude, are they ever going to shut up? And we have a hard time shutting up sometimes.
We missed one match.
Shoulder? How's your shoulder?
It's doing better. I can do this. I have a problem going this way and raising up. I still feel some pinching in here. So it's
John
not
doesn't know anything about that.
Yeah.
It's not okay to pull with, but holding the peg is starting to feel real comfortable now.
Oh, good. It's good.
So,
yeah, there was a couple of matches at Vendetta we didn't talk about. We just we got.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
it was Dimitri Trubin versus that big guy. Is it Levon?
Yeah.
I'm taking Levon. On that one. I got
him down winning 5-1.
I think Trubin overdid it with his last chemistry experiment, and I think he's not the same person. And now maybe he'll prove me wrong, but that's what I think.
Yeah, Levon is a tank. He's just unbelievable big.
Yes. Levon's weakness. Sorry, John. Go ahead.
Oh, I see that going 4-2 for Trubin. That's what I see.
Let me ask you if you think this is why. Because one thing about Levon is that his technique is not diverse, and Trubin's is.
That's one reason, and the other reason is that Trubin does have fantastic endurance, and he is very diverse. If he finds a way to stop that match, it'll be a long one, and I don't think Levon will step up to the table the same person he was the prior round, and I think Trubin can. And I do think it could take a couple matches for Trubin to figure that out, but I think he will.
I will say Levon is in one of the biggest classes every year in Worlds. So he's in there's 36 people in it, and they're all national champions from wherever they came from. Mm-hmm. So he has to go through that every time, and he has won the last 2 years, going through some pretty serious names. And, he's getting tested. So now he's doing an event where he's not going to be tested. It's conceivable that he might have added, supplementation into his already impressive
Flintstone vitamins.
You know what I mean? So, just think about that.
The reason why
I
picked Levon, is that how you pronounce it, John? Levon?
I think so.
The reason why I picked him 5-1 is because I watched Trubin, right? When he beat Michael Todd, he was the flavor of the month at that moment. And then he took on Pushkar, and we all, including myself, thought, okay, he's going to take out Pushkar. And Andre took him to the woodshed and smacked him 6-0. Then all of a sudden, he blew up like a tick, all right? Wouldn't pull Chafee, and just got destroyed. So it's like, okay, now we're up and down. And so if you're going to go against a guy who has just so much power and go here, have fun catching that. And that's why I picked, Levon to win 5-1. What kind of shape is he in? Obviously, whatever pec injury he had 365 days from now, obviously it's going to be better, but is he going to be as big as he was when he pulled Chafee,
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I can tell you that I bet Trubin's pretty hungry to get another W because I think he's, 2 losses in now?
Yeah, he definitely wants to win.
So, yeah. And he's a guy he's been around the block. He knows how to pull. He knows how to train. He should definitely be good. That's for sure.
What's the other match we missed?
I don't know.
Well, there's one that's not been announced yet. I think people are assuming it's going to be Gennady and Chafee, but that hasn't been announced.
Chafee.
Yeah, I think Chafee's going to beat everybody. I would take Chafee against anybody right-handed. And, we Pushkar and Siplenkov, we sort of talked about that a little bit. Again, I think Siplenkov is not going to win a match in that. But, I don't know. We probably missed something else, but I forgot it.
Just for shits and giggles, wouldn't it be fun to see Herman Stevens versus Prutnik?
Yes, that would be awesome. I would love to see that. That would be a crazy match. Prutnik, yeah, I would love to see that one, man. We got to get Herman.
I'll watch that at 95
My problem is that, Prutnik, I think, probably walks around 88 kilos, so he probably would want Herman to be a little bit lighter than he is now, but that would be a great match.
That'd be so sweet to watch.
We got to get Herman to start coming to Worlds. I know he's not. He's thinking about it, I think, but he's not there yet. But anyway, so we kept everybody busy for 90 minutes. Oh, even more than that. Look at this. An hour and 40 minutes you spent with us, Jody. I bet you didn't think you were going to waste your whole evening talking to us.
It was fun. I had a blast.
Nice. Dude, we love what you're doing with Arm Talk, and keep it up. It's fun to watch, and it's nice having people doing this kind of stuff and spreading the love about arm wrestling, and maybe someday we can come visit you in your show.
That'd be sweet.
Hell yeah.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We will see you soon.
See you when I see you. Good night, everyone.
Yeah.